Hey everybody, how we doing? We are getting towards the end of the year. I got, show everybody's there, got the girls here. We're still all separated out, but that's going to end shortly here. That's why I thought I wanted to get one more video done in here yet. I probably won't do anything next week because of Christmas. So by the time I come back with the next video, probably going to be a lot of changes. That'll become part of the next video, but I thought I'd let you know about that. Let me take you inside a second. If you saw the video where I redid all my gate in my catch pen here, and I told you I would have to set up for winterizing. So I did something with that, and I just thought I'd show you quick. That's basically what I did. I ended up with a tarp over it and a couple pieces of plywood. I did that mainly because, well, I'll tell you what, last week or 10 days, we've had some wild weather here. It snowed, and that's where it was going to snow, so I thought I want to put that up to see because the wind was going to blow the east. I wanted to see if that would protect on the snow. We didn't get a lot of snow, inch or two, but it was enough to show me that did work. Snow melted shortly after that. Got warm. Then we had tornadoes, thunderstorms, 89-mile-an-hour winds in the area. Fortunately, no damage here. We got by fine, but I think we're going to settle into December weather. It's in the 30s and 40s now. It's going to get in the teens at night, and maybe it'll get to normal. But I did want to go over just the last few things that we were talking about, because when we come back at the first of the year, that video will probably be me sorting everybody out and getting things sorted up and get things ready to go to put all the ewes back together. Hey, I want to talk to you once too, real quick. Feeders. I've got, let's see, there's the frame. You can see the aluminum frame over here. And of course those, you've seen these, they all sit on the aluminum frame. I took mine off, but that's the way I'm feeding hay from now on. You gotta be a little careful with rams anyway, they get their horns in. But let me take you over, even when I get the ewes alone. Here is one of your high-priced hay feeders. I've used this in the past. I used that with the ewes before. But I have found I have far less waste with that than I ever had with that. So I'm never going back to that again. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff on the ground here. I get that with the other feeder too. This bale of hay, this round bale is far stemmier than the stuff we usually get. And we've talked to the guy about it. Don't know why it's so stemmy, but it sure is. So we're getting a little waste. But I'll tell you what, they don't waste nearly as much hay for me in that kind of feeder than the other. So from now on, this is what I'm going to be using. And all that'll come down when we get ready now to pull the rams. I'll take all this fence down. I'll take the feeders out. We're going to put all the ewes together. All the ewes are going to go in one pen. And let me show you what I think I'm going to do in here with the rams. Hey, one thing I thought before we go in and do that, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about Longshot down here. Longshot just this week turned 10 months old. So at 10 months, I think he's looking pretty good for 10 months old. And especially considering the way he started out, because Longshot and his sister over there, their mom died when they were 5 weeks old. So at 5 weeks, he kind of got weaned whether he liked it or not. Technically, she was probably sick for a week while I was doctoring her. And I saw at that point in time, the lambs were both eating a lot of alfalfa, some hay, eating some grain. And when mom died, I just decided, let them stay there with the ewes. They can just stay there. They were eating good. I thought, why take them out? Why stress them? But I'll tell you what, for 10 months old, considering the way his life started, I don't think he turned out too bad. All right, let's look inside. All right, this is the catch pen area. If you're not familiar, this is the area I use when we need to catch sheep or work with them. They come in here. This is my catch pen. From here back, it's 40 feet long because the building is 40 feet, about 10 feet wide. And usually when I'm working sheep, we bring them up, we get them in the back part. We close this gate down, and then beyond that, when I want to get them really in a tight spot, then we also have a second gate that I can bring in closer. But the first gate closes right here. I'm going to have about a 10 by 15 or 10 by 16 as a space. Now, by the time when we come back to the next video, we're going to be sorting out rams and ewes, and the 3 rams that have been with the ewes are going to go in here, and this is where they're going to stay. I'm going to put 3 rams in a 10 by 15 area. We'll probably throw a couple tubs or something in there just to kind of get in their way, because when I put them in, they're going to fight. That's all you're going to get. You're going to get fights right off the bat. So the thing what you want to do is confine them in as small a space as you can get. I could probably close that gate and confine them even farther, but we'll leave them in about a 10 by 15. We'll put 3 rams together, and we're just going to leave them in there. We'll probably leave them in. I keep an eye on the fighting. I got cameras right up here, so I'll be able to, even from the house, be able to see what the fighting's like. We'll keep an eye on how much fighting we get. If it's not too bad, leave them 2, 3, 4 days, whatever it's going to be. And then we'll go down and I'll get the 4 small rams in the grow out pen. I'll then bring the 4 small rams up there, and we'll throw the 4 in with the 3. And we might leave them in that for a while that first day. Then we might turn them out here where we're at, close that gate, and now put them in this area, which is going to be about 24 foot by 10 foot. Then there'll be 7 rams. Now we'll leave them in that area for a few days, and once we think the fighting's about done, then we'll finally turn them back out. And the main reason is, don't give them a running start. Put them in a spot, put some stuff in here, so they got to maneuver around it, and that way 2 rams can't back up 20 yards each way and get a 40-yard running start at each other. That's where you're going to have problems. That's where somebody's going to get hurt. So that's the way we'll do that, and we'll probably set that up on the next video. Let's go down by the young ram pen. I did some work down there, and I didn't bother to film it, but I'll show you what I was doing. All right, how we doing, little guys? See how the young guns are doing, growing a little bit. They've been doing a little bit of fighting, a little bit of headbutting down in here last week, so they've been feeling good. All right, what I did, I worked on these 2 sheds. Let me go back around the other side. They used to look like this. The rams had really tore them up. There wasn't much left. So here's what I did. I threw some plywood on them quick, had to throw a board, threw some plywood. Hey, Pete. Got a little plywood on, and basically I wanted to do that because once we get all the ewes off and all 7 rams go together, they do have this, and it's probably enough. But you know what? If we get a snowstorm or something's going, I like to give them a little extra, to have a little extra cover. That, not only that, but when the sun's shining, the sun's going to shine in there, so on cold winter mornings, somebody can be laying back in there, they'll be out of the wind, get in the sun, be a little bit warmer for them. So, did that one quick. I didn't bother to film it. I figured it'd be a little boring just standing around watching me put screws in plywood. So, got that done. One more thing we need to talk about. All right, last thing we're going to talk about. The black and white ewe and this smaller black and white ewe right here, those 2. This one I named Heart. That's her daughter right there. So that's a 2019 ewe there, and her 2020 daughter there. Heart is the daughter of the black and white ewe I have up in the pen with Longshot. So that's her daughter, and of course then this would be the granddaughter. The black and white ewe up in the other pen is named Blackie. I have 2 ewe lambs with her up there now, her twin lambs from this year. So the other day I got to looking, and I realized Blackie's probably one of the better ewes on the place. As far as bloodline is concerned, if you look at her paper, she's probably one of the best in the place. But I realize now I have 3 daughters by her and a granddaughter. And I thought, I don't know if I really want 3 daughters and a granddaughter all coming from the same ewe. I've got all the other ewes here. I'd rather spread my genetics out just a little bit. Now, I like Blackie in the fact that, and we didn't talk about this much in the genetics. She's a daughter of Boondocks who goes back to Alviso Ranch Longfellow. Longfellow is a big name, especially if you're looking for black and white sheep. If you're looking for those, the Longfellow is a big name, and there's a lot of Longfellow blood here to go along with the others. But I thought, I really don't want all those daughters coming from the same ewe. I want to spread it out a little bit. So I had a gentleman contact me a few months ago, was looking for sheep, and I said I had a couple of rams I'd sell, but I didn't really have any ewes I would sell at that time. So the discussion was, well, let's just wait till this next summer, and he could get some weaned ewes at that time. But then when I started looking at all this, and I started looking at all the paperwork and the fact that I had so many daughters coming from one ewe, I kind of changed my mind. So I gave him a call a couple weeks ago, talked to him, said, tell you what, I have a mother and a daughter. They're both in with this ram, the ram here. I said, I would sell those two, and that way I will keep the twins from her this year, but then I probably won't keep any more ewe lambs from her, at least not for a while, because two's enough. I don't need 3 plus a granddaughter to boot. So we talked about it. He said that'd be great. He'd like them. He wanted to take them. I said, I'm going to leave everybody till about the 1st January. So we'll probably wait till January sometime, and he'll probably come pick them up sometime in January. But it's just where you're looking at your bloodlines, you're looking at what do you want in your flock. And I decided I really love her. I love the 2 ewe lambs with her, but man, I really don't want that many ewes coming from the same ewe. I have enough other ewes around here. I'd like to spread it out a little bit, spread those genetics out some. So those two will move on to a new home in January, and I'll be anxious to hear what he ends up getting from those two. So, all right. That's probably all we're going to do till on the next video will be right after the 1st of the year when I'm getting all the rams and ewes sorted out. I'll have you around for that video. We'll sort them out, make a video while we're doing that. But I wanted one last shot to tell you everybody have a very Merry Christmas if you're celebrating Christmas. If not, just have a happy holiday or whatever you do. Thanks for sticking with me this year. I hope you'll be around for next year. Hey, if you want to get a hold of me, I'll put a link in the description to my Facebook page. There's a Full Curl Trophy Sheep Facebook page. Look that up. I'm putting pictures in there at least 2 or 3 times a week. You can keep up with what's going on that way. The website, if you have Full Curl Trophy Sheep on the website, and I have a Gmail account. So all that stuff can be found either at the website or the Facebook page. If you've got questions, want to ask me anything or talk about sheep, hit me an email quick and I'll be glad to talk about it with you. Otherwise, have a very good holiday season, and I'll see you next year.